Hey everyone, welcome back to the second video of the AWS Serverless series. And in this video, as promised, we will be building an end-to-end AWS Serverless project that you guys can follow along with me. And I will explain you each and everything from scratch. We will make it super easy for everyone to follow. My name is Mohit, you're watching DevOps Studio. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So before we build the project, it is very important to understand the problem statement as to what exactly is the problem that we are looking to solve through this project. And I've picked a very simple and common problem that each one of you will be able to relate. Okay, and it is right there on your screen. If you want, you can pause the video and read it. I will also leave a link to it in the description. So let me walk you through the problem statement. Okay, so imagine you have a social media application similar to WhatsApp, Instagram or Snapchat, right? So over there you have an option to update your display picture, right? And you can even see other people's display picture, right? The problem is whenever someone updates their display picture, they can pretty much pick any file they want, right? The file size can be anything. It can be 1000 by 1000, it can be 5000 by 5000, 4K quality, 2K quality. That means there is an inconsistency because the user can upload any image he or she wants, right? So that leads to a couple of problems. The first problem is the excessive storage usage. Okay, so whatever backend we are using to store those images, it's gonna pile up pretty quick, right? Because people will be uploading all sort of images to their display picture. So that we want to avoid. Second issue is the inconsistency, right? So since each user has a different resolution of image, right? So that might appear very differently on different devices. Okay, so we need a standard. And the third thing is slow loading time. Okay, so for example, if I have uploaded a very high quality image, okay, let's say it's a 4K or 8K image, right? Then it will take a lot of time to load. And you must have seen that in WhatsApp, when you click on someone's DP, it instantly comes up. There is hardly any loading time at all. Okay, so we want to achieve that sort of fluency. So to solve all this, what we are going to do is to create a service that will resize the images. Okay, so whenever a user uploads the image, no matter the size, it will go to our service, and then our service will resize it to 512 by 512 pixel and upload it back. Okay, so this is the project for today's video. So before we start creating this project, let me show you the architectural diagram of this. Okay, so on the left side you will see this is our user. Okay, so obviously he's using our mobile application, and through that he will update his display picture. And remember, we are not building this mobile application, we are building this service that will resize his display picture. So as soon as he uploads his display picture, that image will land up in our S3 bucket. So we are using S3 to store these images because it's a blob storage. Okay, and as soon as the images land up in the S3, we will trigger the Lambda function automatically, and this will be our service that will resize the images. Okay, and as soon as the resizing is done, the Lambda will trigger the SES, which is simple email service, and it will send us an email notification on our email box. And all these services will talk to each other using the STS, so they have their own IAM roles attached. Okay, so this is how they will access each other. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward and easy to understand. So let's start building this. So first of all, we need a S3 bucket, right? So let's go to AWS and open S3. Over here we need to create a bucket, so let's click on create bucket. So let's call it image resizer storage. Okay, let's scroll down and click on create bucket, and our bucket is ready. So let's go inside the bucket, and now we will create two folders. One folder which will store the images uploaded by the user, and the second folder where we'll be pushing the images after the resizing. Okay, so let's create the first folder. Let's call it uploaded, and let's create another folder. Let's call it resized. Okay, so now we have two folders. So now if we come back to this diagram, then now we need a Lambda service. Okay, but before that, let's create this SES service. Okay, so for that, go to SES. So SES is a simple email service. So it's another service by AWS that lets you send emails. setting up emails is very easy. So all you have to do is on the left menu, click on identities and click on create identity. Now click on email address. So I will put my email address and click on create identity. And as soon as you do that, it will send you a verification link on that email. It will look something like this. Okay, so to verify it, you just have to click on this link. So let's do that, and it will show us that congratulations, you have successfully verified your email address. Now if you come back to AWS, go to identities, you will see that our email address has been verified. So now we can send emails to this. So now the last thing we need to do is to create this service that will resize our images. Okay, so let's go back to AWS and let's go to Lambda. So you can write this service in any language you want, but for now I will be using Python. So let's click on create a function and let's call it image resizer, and for the runtime I will select Python 3.12. But as I said, if you want to build this in Java, Node, Python, Ruby, it's up to you. You can select any runtime you want and you can build it. So let's click on create function. Okay, so our Lambda function is ready and it has given us a sample Python code, but I've already written the code for the image resizing. So let me copy it and paste it here. So I'm not going to write it from scratch, but I will explain you line by line what this does. Okay, so first of all, for processing the images, we are using a library called PIL or Pillow, and we are also using Boto3. So Boto3 is a very famous library for Python that helps you access different AWS services. Okay, so as you can see, since we are interacting with both S3 and SES, so I have created clients for both. Okay, so this is my S3 client, Boto3.client S3, and this is my client for SES. Okay, and we just have two functions. This is our resize image function. Okay, so it will take image as an input and then it's going to resize it to 512 by 512 and save it back. Okay, and then this is our main Lambda function, Lambda underscore handler. Okay, so it will receive the event. Okay, so event here is whenever a file is created on S3. Okay, that is an event. So what it's going to do is it's going to fetch that bucket name from the event and it will fetch the object key, that means the name of the image, from the event as well. Okay, and then it will download the image from S3 and then it will pass that image to this resize image method from this line. Okay, and then it will go inside the resized folder that we created on S3 and it will save that image. Okay, and after that it will send us an email saying that the image has been uploaded. Okay, and I will leave a link to this code in the description as well, so you guys can check it out. And moreover, it's 2025, right? So you do not have to write these scripts from scratch. Okay, you can generate them from AI and then you can test it and make changes as per your needs. But the important thing here is to know what the complete code is doing. Okay, what are the different methods and how we are accessing different things. Okay, so that is very important. Okay, so on the left side I'm going to click on deploy. So it is successfully deployed. So now we need to set up triggers. Okay, so if you come up, you will see on the left side of our Lambda it says a trigger. Okay, so we will add a S3 trigger. So click on add trigger and from the drop down select S3. Okay, and from the bucket let's select our image resizer bucket. So on the event types it will show you the list of the events that you can choose. For example, object creation is an event, deletion is an event, but in our case we need the object creation. Okay, so we'll select this first one. Okay, all object create events. So whether the image is being uploaded or being copied, all of that comes into creation. Okay, so now we need to also add a prefix. Okay, because we are picking the files from the uploaded folder. Okay, so over here let's put uploaded. Okay, and then we don't have to do anything, just click on acknowledge and click on add. So our trigger is ready. As you can see in the diagram, we have a S3 trigger that will trigger this Lambda function. But before we run this, there are a few more things that we need to change. For example, if you go to configuration, and click on edit, you will see that the timeout is set to 3 seconds only. Okay, but my assumption is the resizing will take somewhere around like 10 to 20 seconds. Okay, so just to be on the safe side, let's keep it 30 seconds. Okay, and click on save. So after setting up the timeout, the final thing we need to do is give permissions to this Lambda to upload and download files from S3 and to send email through SES. So for that, again, come back to configuration, and on the left side, click on permissions. So you will see that this is the role, the default role that is currently attached to this Lambda. And on the drop down, it will also show you that right now it has a default access to CloudWatch to write the logs. Okay, so let's click on this role name. So it will open this role in a new tab. Okay, so you will see that it has a default policy, right? In case you are not aware of what are roles, what are policies, what is an S3 bucket, I have created all these videos in this channel, so please go back and watch those videos. So now we will create some inline policies for this role. Okay, so click on add permissions and click on create inline policy. So over here we will select the service, so we need access to S3. Okay, so to download and upload the files, we need to give a couple of permissions. So firstly, from the list part, let's give it list bucket so that it can list that bucket. From the read part, let's give it get object so that it can get that object. And then from the write category, let's give it put object. Okay, so that it can upload that image. Okay, and it is important that you pick only the permissions that you need. Okay, it is very easy to just click this, okay, that says all S3 actions. Okay, but it is against the principle of least privilege. Okay, it will work, but that is not the best practice. Okay, so always make sure that you pick the exact policies that you need. So on the bottom side, it will ask you which resource. So again, you can click on all the resources, but that will be like a bad practice. Okay, so we will pick a specific bucket. Okay, so for that we need to add the ARN of that bucket. Okay, so let's click on that and let's go back to S3. So we need to get the S3 bucket ARN. So let's click on our bucket and let's go to properties, and over here it will show you the ARN. So let's copy that and let's paste it here. So it will automatically take the bucket name as well, and click on add ARN. So since we have specified the bucket, now we also need to specify the objects that we are trying to access inside that bucket. That means those two folders. Okay, so from the object, click on add ARNs, and on the resource bucket name, let's copy paste the bucket name. And then for object, let's click on any object name because we need access to all these objects and folders, right? So let's click on add ARN. So let's click on next and let's give it a meaningful name. So let's call it image resizer S3 access policy. Okay, let's click on create policy. So let's add another inline policy for the SES access. Okay, so from the service drop down, let's select SES, and we need one policy that says send email. So it must be in the right. Okay, so here it is, send email. Select that. Again, give it a meaningful name. So let's call it image resizer SES policy. Click on create policy. So now it's finally time to test our service. Okay, so to do that, let's go back to the Lambda, and we will also keep a track of it, like what it is doing, what are the logs. Okay, to do that, click on monitor, and over here you will see the button that says view CloudWatch logs. Okay, click on that. So on the new window, it will open the log group of that Lambda function, and over here you will see the button that says start tailing. So click on that. So what it is it will show you the live feed of the logs that whatever the Lambda function is doing, it will dump the logs here. Okay, so let's go back to the architectural diagram. So far we have created all these resources. We have created the bucket, the folders, we have created the service, we have created the SES service as well that will send us the email. We have verified the email address, and we have attached the appropriate IAM roles as well. So it's now time to test this service. So let's go back to S3, and inside our bucket, let's go in the uploaded folder and let's try to upload an image. So I'm going to upload an image that I have of this Lambda function. Okay, so I have this Lambda file that I'm going to upload. So before I do that, let me show you the size of this file. Okay, so let's right click this and click on properties, and if you go to details, you will see right now it's 1200 by 1200. Okay, so let's upload it. So as soon as I upload it, the Lambda should be triggered automatically, and it should resize the image and upload it back to the resized folder. So let's click on upload, and let's also open the logs of the Lambda to see what it is doing and whether there is any error or not. And as you can see, we have an error. And as per the logs, it is saying that it is not able to find the PIL module, okay, which is expected. So the reason why we are getting this is, if you go back to the Lambda, okay, go to code, then remember that I showed you that we are using that PIL library, right, the pillow module, okay, and that module is not part of our Lambda. Okay, we have not imported that yet. Okay, so to do that, it's very easy. We can add it as a layer inside our Lambda. So layers is a functionality in Lambda which allows you to add supporting libraries, okay, or to add more functionality to your Lambda. Okay, so what we will do is we will create a package for the pillow module and upload it as a layer, and we can very easily do that. Let me show you how. So to do that, open any IDE of your choice, okay, create a blank project, and inside this create a new folder called Python. So mkdir Python, and go inside the Python directory. Now you just have to run this command that says pip install pillow-t dot. So the pip package manager will install the pillow and all the required files inside that Python folder. Okay, as you can see inside the Python folder, all these files have been created. So let's open it in the Explorer, and let me actually make this bigger so that you can see. Okay, so all these folders has been created. So go back, and we have to zip this Python folder. So right click and zip it using any tool you want. So now on the Lambda, we have to create a layer. So on the left side, click on these three bars and click on layer and click on create layer. Okay, let's call it pillow layer. Okay, and let's upload that zip file over here. So it's in the desktop. This is it, and we have to select the architecture. So our Lambda is x86-64, so let's select that, and the runtime is Python 3.12, so let's also select that. So click on create. So our pillow layer is ready. So all we have to do is to link this layer with our Lambda. So let's go back to Lambda and click on this layers. So it will take you all the way to the bottom. Okay, so over here click on add a layer on the bottom right side, and click on custom layers because it's a custom layer by us, and select the name pillow layer and select the version. So far it's just a one version, so let's select one and click on add. So now our Lambda function has a layer with pillow inside it. Okay, so let's try to trigger this again. Okay, you can clear this. Okay, clear this logs and go back to S3 And let me delete this object, and then we will upload it again. So the object is gone. Let's upload it again. Go to downloads, let's upload, and you can upload any image you want. Okay, click on upload. So it is uploaded. So now our Lambda code has access to Pillow, and as you can see, we do not see any errors in the logs. So let's verify. Let's go to S3 and let's go to the resized folder and see if the file is there or not. So it has created an uploaded folder here. So if you go inside, you see we have this file that has been resized, and we can actually verify this. So if you click on this and click on download, so it will download this file. So let's open it in the Explorer. Let me make this bigger. So this is the file, right? So if you see, it says dimension is 512 by 512. So the resizing was successful. That means our service is running fine and we have successfully resized the image. And as you can tell, we have not created a single server to do this. Okay, all the components that we are using, whether it's S3 or Lambda, they are completely serverless. And if you check your email, then we have received the email as well. Okay, so it says image processed. Your image has been resized and it's available at this S3 location. Okay, so we are getting the emails as well. So that was it for today's project. So we have created this mini project. I will put all the links to all these resources, the diagram, the code, the policies, everything in the description, so you guys can check it out. So if you guys like this video, do give us a thumbs up and do subscribe for more such videos around DevOps. And I will see you in the next video.